Hey guys, thank you so much for coming back and watching the second video in this series about my trip to Disney World during COVID. I appreciate you guys so much for being here and joining me and spending a little bit of your day with me. If you haven't seen the first video, I recommend maybe going back and watching that one first. I think this might just make more sense if you watch that one first. It's just a two-part series about my trip to Disney World during COVID. Two parts only because it's a lot of information and I want it to be easy to consume and easy to understand. I didn't want to make like an hour-long video that was like really overwhelming. So definitely go ahead and watch that one first and then pop back. But if you're ready, let's get started. I'm Rachel and this is Attainable Disney.
Yay!
You have to wear the mask. Okay, I mean, that's probably like the biggest takeaway, and I think that's probably everybody's biggest concern. It was not a big deal for me. I wear a mask and a face shield every day at work. There are even certain tasks where I have to wear two masks and the face shield, so wearing a mask all day was not like a big deal for me. But I know that it is a big deal for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, and so, but you have to do it. That could be a deal breaker, and it should be a deal breaker, right? Like if you're not comfortable wearing that mask all day, don't go, because there's no way around it, right? And so, you know, I see people, like I'm in a lot of Facebook groups and I see people saying like, oh, I need recommendations for like breathable masks for while I'm there. It's like, don't, because if it's breathable, like they won't let you wear it, right? Like if it has like the vent thing, they won't let you wear it. If it has like an open bottom, they won't let you wear it. It sucks, but you gotta do it. You can only take it off while you are eating or drinking, okay? I know the rule has recently changed. You used to be able to, when you sat down at a restaurant, you used to be able to take your mask off. The rule has changed now that you have to like wait until you're actually like eating. So like while you like order and like are waiting for your food, you'll be wearing your mask. That was not the rule when we were there. You know, if you buy a snack or a drink in the park, you have to find a place like away from everybody else and take your mask off and eat it and put your mask back on. You can't do it sort of leisurely, right? Like you can't get a bucket of popcorn and like take your mask off and like walk around and eat your popcorn, right? Like you can't eat or drink while moving. You have to be stationary, sitting by yourself, which is hard, which is different, right? Like it's hard to get used to. You have to like plan for like snacks, right? You can't just like grab a bottle of water and like keep on about your day and like drink it in line. Like you can't do it. So you have to really think about that. You have to plan for that. I'm not a coffee person, but I'm sure that that's hard for coffee people. Like I know lots of people kind of have routines about stopping at like the Joffrey's cart at the Skyliner or like at their resort or like the Starbucks inside the park or whatever, right? And you like walk around with your coffee, but like you can't walk around with your coffee. You have to get your coffee, like go to the side by yourself, like face the wall, like drink it. I mean, that's what it is. And it's not fun. I mean, that part of it sucks. It does take away a little bit of the fun of like the treats of Disney World. It does take away a little bit of that magic. But if it keeps us safe, then that's what it is, okay? My fiance did ask me to make a note here when we're talking about masks. He wears glasses, like full time, he wears glasses, and it was really difficult for him to manage because you know, glasses plus mask gets like kind of foggy, right? I mean, there's kind of no way around it. So if there's something that you can do, so if you have contacts, or if you can get contacts, or if you can try to get used to contacts, or you know, if you maybe don't need your glasses all the time, right? So if there's something like, so just keep in mind that wearing your glasses and your mask all day is not super fun. Just, you know, you might want to find a way around that. I need sunglasses. You guys can, I mean, I'm sure you can see like my eyes are very, very, very light. So I need sunglasses all of the time. So I just kind of did my best to make it work. Like I just put them up on my head whenever I didn't absolutely need them and put them down. I just kind of made it work. But yes, glasses and the mask when you're outside all day is tough. We were outside, I mean, we went in December, so the mask was not, from like a temperature perspective, it was not difficult to manage. It was actually like a kind of chilly when we were there. If someone is going in June or July or August, I don't know how you would do it. Godspeed. I don't know how you would do it, honest to God. So I think an important lesson that we learned sort of on the topic of like eating with the mask was, we aren't big like reservations people. Like we'll make a reservation or two sort of while we're there, but I don't know, it's just like not like eating at a restaurant in the park is not something that's like super duper important to us. Eating at like a quick service became a lot more challenging during COVID because, for a couple of reasons. So because lots of things are shut down, right? So because a lot of the restaurants weren't operating, a lot of the quick services had like much longer lines than they do normally, which was a bummer. And because everyone had to be kind of spaced out and like sitting further apart, and there were like less places to sit, that made it super challenging as well. Yeah, so one day we were in the Magic Kingdom and we waited in this really long line at the Friar Nook for our mac and cheese tots, and then it was really difficult for us to find a place to sit and eat. And then we did, so we finally went kind of up by where they do Enchanted Tales with Belle. We were finally able to find a place to sit, but it was not comfortable, right? We were sitting on like a fence essentially. I mean, it was not like a great place to sit. Like it didn't feel like restful or like restorative, right? It didn't feel like a relaxing break. So I think like one thing that we kind of walked away from saying was like, we wish that we would have had a reservation for lunch. Like even if it was like a stupid reservation, like even if it was like Tony's Town Square, right? Like even if it was like at a dumb place, like just so that we would have had sort of a guaranteed place to sit down, to like get our food, to take our mask off, right? Because it was difficult to find sort of otherwise. We surrounded by people who are trying to circumvent the rules, people who are trying to find the loopholes, people who don't want to follow the rules, people who think that they're sneaky, people who think that the rules don't apply to them. And some people who are just, maybe not malicious, but people who are just excited, right? And like little kids who it's so difficult to keep a mask on, right? Or like, you know, people who just are so excited to be in the Magic Kingdom or to be in Disney World and just kind of forget and like, so, you know, not everyone who's not following the rules is like a jerk, right? Some people are just excited or forgetful or whatever, right? And you need to be prepared for that. I wasn't, which probably sounds naive, but I'm used to being in an environment in a medical clinic, right? Where everyone believes the science, everyone's following the rules, and the rules are very strictly enforced. Right? I mean, work is kind of the only place I had gone for so long. And so to suddenly be surrounded by so much of sort of the general public was a shock. And to see so many people who would go to lengths to sneak around the rules, right? Or just sort of act like the rules didn't apply to them was challenging. So it caused me a lot of anxiety to see people just take their mask off in line and just eat their breakfast like it didn't matter, like that wasn't the rule, you know? Or to see people, you know, have people like when you're in line not staying 6 feet behind you, like just coming all up on you, or whatever it was, you know? People wearing their mask below their nose. I don't know. Because they think that means something. I don't know. So that, you know, so those kinds of things were sort of making me a little like nervous. And so you have to kind of make some decisions, and you have to make some decisions sort of quick. And so I would say to you, be prepared to sort of deal with that. I don't know, deal with if that makes you nervous or if that makes you anxious. Find a way to cope with that. Have an exit strategy not gonna lie to you, there was more than one time where we got off a bus because the other people on the bus just could not follow the rules. Now, the cast members were very good about enforcing the rules, right? So the bus driver would say, oh, you have to keep your mask on. But then the second that the bus driver turned around to start driving the bus and is paying attention to the road, their mask came right off, right? I mean, there were many times where we were in line for rides and people just did not grasp the spacing, right? Like they just did not understand to like stay 6 feet apart. And there were many times where like I had to turn around and be like, hey, can you take a step back? Can you make sure that we get our 6 feet, right? But you know what? I was also that person. Like my fiance a couple times was pulling me back because I was getting too close to the person in front of us. And again, it was just because I was like anxious. I was like so excited to like get on the ride. And it's not something you think about. It's not natural to like leave that much space, right? So it's not that people aren't following the rules because they're jerks. It's just, I don't know, people are excited and it's new and like weird and different. And so I think my advice is like it's don't be afraid to like make the decisions that you need to. And if that means leaving the situation, if that means standing up for yourself, if that means telling someone in your party to like get it together and like put their mask on or like, you know, whatever. If that means asking a cast member to like talk to someone, you know. So I guess I would just be prepared for that. Like I said, the cast members I think are really good at sort of enforcing the rules, but you know, there's also, they can't be everywhere all at once. I think maybe the last thing I want to touch on is the crowd levels. So I think one of the things that got us really excited to go was we were like, it's only 25% capacity. Oh my God, we're gonna go on 100,000 rides. We're gonna go on Haunted Mansion like 5 times. That was like our thing. Like, there's gonna be no lines. Everything's gonna be amazing. Which was not the case. And so I just want to make sure that we kind of like manage expectations here. So yes, the capacity was much, much lower. Here's what you need to understand is that it kind of all evens out. So because a lot of rides or attractions or experiences were also closed, right? So there was lots of people who were supposed to be inside Journey of the Little Mermaid, or who were supposed to be inside Disney Junior Dance Party, who weren't, right? Who were just like out in Hollywood Studios. And so it was crowded. Right, so like you were kind of missing that. Or like, again, the restaurants. Lots of restaurants were closed. The seating was a lot more limited. So there was more people out in the streets, more people eating at quick service. The rides themselves, the actual like cars on most of the rides were sitting less people. Some of them had like clear like barriers and, you know, depending on the individual ride. Some of them were able to sit more people than others, but a lot of them were sitting very few people. And so it took a lot longer to get on the ride. And the rides had to stop for the cleaning every couple of hours, right? So there was a lot that kind of evened out, that it really felt like the wait times and the crowd levels, like I don't think that we really got as much benefit of the like, oh, it's only 25% as we maybe anticipated. The line experience was also very different because you pretty much never stopped moving. Like I remember when we went on Haunted Mansion, I was like exhausted. So the line for Haunted Mansion was actually all the way down on the river. So it was kind of like where like the riverboat line usually is. So we were like all the way kind of weaved through there, like down by the water. But because of the way that, right, the Omnimover style of that ride, plus like how far apart we are, and how long that line was, like we literally never stopped walking. Like we walked all the way to the back of the line and we just kept moving. Like by the time we actually sat down in the thing, I was like out of breath. I was like, we've been walking for like 45 minutes, just straight. I was tired. So you're not really we weren't really standing in line at any point. I don't think we stood in line. Like we walked through most of the lines. Like, even there were times where we were in like Smuggler's Run where I like wanted, I'm like, can we stop? Like, I want to take some pictures. Like, I want to be in here. Like, I want to look around, and like the line was just moving and shaking. You never could stop. I don't know, it was very strange. So guys, thank you so much for watching both videos in my series about my trip to Disney World during COVID. I hope you found them helpful. If you still have questions, or if there's something maybe specific that you wanted to know or maybe we didn't touch on, please let me know. Please feel free to leave a comment, or you can come follow me on Instagram, ask me there. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you guys need to know, because that's what I'm here for. Okay, so thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.